Welcome back, dear listeners, to another installment of our weekly bedtime stories. If you're tuning in, it's likely that you're seeking a moment of tranquility, a soothing narrative to guide you into a peaceful night's sleep, or perhaps to accompany you during those quiet moments when the world is still. Before we embark on tonight's tale, remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of our comforting stories. Our goal is to provide you with solace and relaxation whenever you need it most. Tonight's story is a heartfelt journey that you'll want to hear before drifting off to dreamland, or even during those wakeful nights when sleep seems elusive. It's a story of redemption, forgiveness, and the enduring power of love that transcends time and space. So, find a cozy spot, dim the lights, and allow the gentle cadence of our story to envelop you in its embrace. Get ready to embark on a father's legacy, the story of Arthur's redemption. Arthur lay in his makeshift bedroom, unable to find solace in slumber once again. Insomnia had become his constant companion ever since his father, Mike, had passed away from cancer a year ago. He blamed himself for not spending enough time with his dad during his final days, and the guilt weighed heavy on his young heart. Mike worked tirelessly as a pastor at the Harmony Grace Christian Church, located on the outskirts of New York City, near the bustling 34th Street subway station. He commuted each day from their small one-bedroom apartment in Harlem, a place that barely accommodated their modest lifestyle. Arthur had his own corner of the living room, separated by an accordion wall that offered little privacy. The apartment's creaky floors and the constant noise from the neighbors above made it even more challenging for Arthur to get a good night's sleep. At 12 years old, he needed rest more than ever. But the world around him conspired to keep him awake. Arthur was passionate about sports, and his dedication shone through as he played on a team throughout the year and attended a sports summer camp where they practiced daily and held games every Friday. He was a talented young athlete, and his father had always been his biggest fan, attending every game he could. But Arthur had not reciprocated that support, choosing to spend most of his free time with his friends Eric and Kevin. He also had a crush on a girl named Adeline, whose impeccable fashion sense came from her mother's career in the fashion industry. Arthur adored her not just for her looks, but for her kind personality, and they had become best friends. In many ways, he spent more time with Adeline than with Eric and Kevin. Mike's long hours in the church had already strained their family life, but 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest forms of the disease. Guilt gnawed at Mike as well, as he blamed himself for not seeking medical attention earlier. Their inadequate healthcare plan prevented early intervention, and by the time they discovered the cancer, it was too late for surgery. The doctors offered chemotherapy, giving Mike a prognosis of just 1 to 3 years to live. Mike fought valiantly, but for the last year of his life, he was bedridden and dependent on Social Security disability insurance from the state of New York. He couldn't work, and Arthur couldn't find it in himself to prioritize his father when he was at his lowest. Was he selfish for wanting to distract himself with friends and the complexities of adolescence? It was a burden the young boy struggled to bear. Arthur's regrets and grief eventually led him to a grief counseling group called Healing Hearts, provided by a volunteer organization, which met twice a month. The sessions allowed Arthur to process his father's death, confront his guilt, and, with the help of a compassionate counselor, begin the slow journey of forgiving himself. One evening, during a tearful session, the counselor exclaimed, "The fact that you feel sorry means you cared." Those words resonated deeply with Arthur, and he experienced a breakthrough, a moment of profound realization. He had dedicated his life to commemorate his father's legacy. As Arthur grew older, he developed a genuine appreciation for the church and began attending services on his own, even when his mother didn't insist. Over time, he felt a calling of his own, inspired by his father's work. He pursued the path of becoming a pastor, just like Mike. In a twist of fate, he married his elementary school crush, Adeline, and they started a family of their own, raising lovely children. Arthur's dedication to his faith and his father's memory made him a famous pastor with his own YouTube channel, delivering sermons that touched the hearts of people, young and old. He spread the message that Christ was always watching and always with them, just as his father had done. One day, Arthur hoped to reunite with his father in heaven, where he could express how much he appreciated all that his dad had done for him. Through his actions, he knew he was showing his father just how much he cared. Arthur's commitment to honoring his father's memory through his own life's journey continued to grow stronger with each passing day. He embraced the teachings of his faith and followed in Mike's footsteps, becoming a dedicated pastor. Harmony Grace Christian Church, where Mike had served for so many years, became the center of Arthur's universe. He led the congregation with passion, delivering sermons that resonated deeply with his listeners. People were drawn to his sincerity and the genuine compassion he radiated. The little church in New York City began to thrive under Arthur's leadership, its pews filling up with both familiar faces and newcomers seeking solace. But it wasn't just within the walls of the church that Arthur's impact was felt. He also embraced the power of the internet, creating a YouTube channel where he shared his sermons and messages of hope. In a world often plagued by despair and uncertainty, his online presence provided a sanctuary for those seeking faith and guidance. His father would have been proud. As Arthur continued to grow in his faith and ministry, his bond with Adeline deepened. Their love had blossomed from childhood friendship into a steadfast partnership. Together, they faced the challenges of life with unwavering support for each other and their shared commitment to their family and faith. Adeline, who had once captured Arthur's heart with her grace and style, now stood beside him as a source of strength and inspiration. Her passion for fashion and design had found a purpose as she used her talents to create beautiful garments for the less fortunate, aligning her life with the teachings of compassion and kindness that she and Arthur both held dear. Their love story, filled with the echoes of childhood memories and shared dreams, was a testament to the power of faith and love. They raised their children with the same values that had guided their own lives, teaching them to be compassionate, empathetic, and understanding. Arthur often found himself reflecting on the legacy his father had left behind. It was a legacy of love, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. The memory of Mike's dedicated service to both his family and the church served as a guiding light in Arthur's life, reminding him of the importance of putting others before oneself. Through his work as a pastor and and his dedication to his family, Arthur felt a profound connection to his father, even in his absence. He knew that every word spoken from the pulpit, every act of kindness, and every moment spent with his own children were ways of saying, "Thank you, Dad," to the man who had shaped his life so profoundly. As Arthur continued to grow as a pastor, husband, and father, he held on to the belief that one day, in the embrace of eternity, he would reunite with his father in heaven. There, he would finally have the opportunity to express the depth of his gratitude and love for the man who had shown him the way to faith, hope, and a life filled with purpose. And so, Arthur's journey continued, a testament to the enduring power of love, faith, and the indomitable human spirit. He knew that every sermon he delivered, every life he touched, and every act of kindness he performed was a tribute to the father he had loved and lost, but whose legacy lived on through him. As the years passed, Arthur's ministry grew, and so did his family. He and Adeline welcomed more children into their lives, each one a testament to the love and faith that bound their family together. The little church near the 34th Street subway station in New York City continued to thrive under Arthur's guidance, touching the lives of countless individuals seeking solace and inspiration. The YouTube channel that Arthur had started became a global platform, reaching people from all corners of the world. His sermons resonated with those in need, offering comfort, hope, and a renewed sense of purpose. It was as though his father's spirit lived on in every word he spoke, a gentle reminder that love transcended the boundaries of time and space. Arthur's dedication to his father's memory and the teachings of his faith was unwavering. He never forgot the lessons of compassion, humility, and selflessness that Mike had instilled in him. The small apartment in Harlem was no longer a place of creaky floors and sleepless nights. It was a home filled with love and laughter, where Arthur and Adeline raised their children to be kind and understanding, just as their parents had taught them. In the midst of his ministry and family life, Arthur still held on to the hope of a heavenly reunion with his father. He believed that one day he would be able to look into Mike's eyes and tell him just how much he had appreciated everything he had done for him. It was a belief that gave him strength and purpose every day. One sunny Sunday morning, as Arthur stood at the pulpit, delivering a sermon about the enduring power of love, he felt an overwhelming sense of presence. It was as though a warm embrace enveloped him, and he knew, deep in his heart, that his father was with him in that moment. Tears welled up in his eyes as he continued to speak, the words flowing from his heart. The congregation, too, felt the presence of something greater than themselves. They listened intently, not just to Arthur's words, but to the love and faith that radiated from him. In that sacred moment, they understood the essence of his message, that love and faith had the power to bridge the gap between this world and the next, between the living and the departed. After the service, as Arthur greeted members of the congregation, an elderly woman approached him. She had been coming to the church for years, finding solace in its embrace during her own times of sorrow and loss. She smiled at Arthur and said, "You know, Pastor Arthur, your father would be so proud of the man you've become. I can feel his presence here, with us, every time you speak." Tears welled up in Arthur's eyes once more, but this time they were tears of gratitude and joy. He realized that his father's legacy was not just a memory, but a living presence, one that would continue to touch the lives of those he had left behind. In the years that followed, Arthur's ministry flourished, his family thrived, and his faith remained unshakable. The legacy of Mike, the pastor who had worked tirelessly for a small church in New York City, continued to shine brightly through his son. And so, the story of Arthur, a young boy who had once blamed himself for his father's illness and passing, became a testament to the enduring power of love, faith, and the bonds that connect us across time and space. In his own journey, Arthur had found redemption, forgiveness, and the profound truth that a father's love never truly fades away.